Hi there, everyone. Welcome back to the Motivating Mum Google Hangouts for 2017. I don't know about you, but this year has just gotten off to a crazy start. Oh, sorry, just 1 second. I've got, sorry, could you hear that replaying there?
Yeah, just mute it, doll.
Yeah, I have, yeah. I'm just going to start again, though, just for the 4 people that already start again. I could hear myself talking over myself. Right, so welcome everyone to the Motivating Mum Google Hangouts for 2017. It's so great to have you on. It has literally gotten off to a flying, crazy start for me, and hopefully it has been the same for you. Also, I should say I've had a bit of hopefully you can hear me okay. I've been waiting all year to have this Google Hangout because I think it's always the best at the start of the year, and that is creating amazing vision boards to, you know, really give your business the best start. I was thinking that I'm pretty sure I heard a quote somewhere saying that if you can't envision it, then you won't achieve it. But then I was thinking, did I make that up myself? I have no idea. But I'm sure Natalia will be able to confirm it or deny it. But yeah, I truly do believe that vision boards are just so powerful, and they're such a great reminder to have reminding you every single day of what it is you want to achieve and where you want to go. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce the wonderful Natalia.
Hi there. My name's Natalia Walker, and I'm the founder of Inner Creative. And yeah, thanks for having me here, and welcome to everyone that's here today. In terms of a bit of background about what I do, I'm on a mission really just to empower women and inspire women just like yourselves to unlock your creativity and get more out of your life and business, and make sure that it actually reflects who you are and what your values, your passion and your personal style. And you can do that by tapping into your intuition. In terms of my background, I've got a strategic planning background that I've been in for over 15 years. But then what I've done is brought that together with my creativity training and my art practice. And what I really love doing is using tools that are creative, so like collage for visioning and Lego and drawing and things like that. They actually bring out the more intuitive, expansive, big picture part of our thinking, rather than the sort of logical, linear sort of approach we tend to use in a lot of our business planning. And so that's why I think vision boards are fantastic for doing that, because it really gets you out of thinking, you know, specific goal lines and things like that. And it's a bit just broadens your possibilities, I think. And in terms of so you get the goals after you've done the vision, but you need to think big before you drill down to the small. So I was actually, before we actually start, what I actually like doing, and I don't know, Ali, I didn't actually warn you about this, but what I actually like to do is what I call an arrival. Because I think, I don't know about you, but, you know, everyone's had a bit of a hectic day already. They're probably running around. I don't know if you're dropping off kids, think about all of the stuff on your to-do list. And it's really, really special that you've all taken the time out to actually be here with us and giving yourself permission basically to, you know, work on your business and think about it rather than being in the doing mode. So what I'd like us to do is just to take a moment to arrive, and I'll just walk you through this. And what you can do, you can either close your eyes, or if that's too much, just even to cast your eyes sort of downward. Look, it's pretty special that you've given yourself the opportunity to attend this hangout. So for the next hour, look, there's nowhere else that you need to be. There's nothing else that you need to be doing. So just give yourself the permission just to be here. And what I'd first like you to do is just to notice where your physical body is, like the room you're in, the space you're in. Just to notice where you are. Feel your feet on the floor, or your body in the chair or the couch. basically bring all of yourself into this one place. And then bring your attention to your feet and actually feel your feet, hopefully on the ground or on the floor, but through the ground and then the earth, and actually feel the support of the earth. And what I want you to do is just take a breath and then imagine like a positive light or energy, like a light pouring through your head, and feel it travel down through your body with your breath to your feet. And breathe out and let your breath rise up and breathe out all of that stale air. Okay. All right. So you've just let yourself arrive and we can get started now. So just open your eyes. Everyone's feeling a little bit more, just a little bit more peaceful and just, yeah, good. Awesome. All right, so just before I start, I thought I'd do a bit of a disclosure. If you're expecting me to give you like the secret approach to vision board, that's not what I'm about. I'm not about, all right, let's get the picture of the SUV that I want and hang it on my wall and then cross my fingers and then it's going to mysteriously or magically appear in my driveway. Now, I'm not saying that it's bad to have the SUV and have the vision, like Ali was saying, like to envision what you really want. I think that's really awesome. And if an SUV is part of that picture, then that's great. But I think just slapping a picture on a piece of paper and just hoping is just, it's not going to work. And my approach, I suppose, is a bit more intuitive. And I'll talk to you more later about failures. And one of those is around thinking more in your head and collecting the pictures from your head and thinking rather than actually from your heart. And I think if you make a vision board from your heart space and more from your intuition and using that side of your brain that's expansive, big picture, you'll actually get a better result. So in terms of why having a vision board, actually, before I get into that, I was actually going to ask Ali if she's actually had a vision board before. And so, yeah, Ali, have you had an experience vision boarding before?
I have created a vision board once. I was trying to find it, but it's old, so I think I threw it out when I moved. But I have another one. I think they're a really good idea, and I always think I would love to do them, but then I think, oh my God, it's just getting too hard finding all the magazines, and what about if I buy a magazine, I can't find a single picture in that magazine that I want to use, and then I'm like spending all this money on expensive magazines. So that's probably why I don't do it more.
Yep, cool. So, yeah, so in terms of, I suppose, and I think I'll get to that in terms of the magazines, because you don't actually need to spend a whole lot of money on your magazines and things like that. But the other thing is, I think, yeah, if you don't worry about having the perfect picture and thinking about what it actually needs to represent, if you're a bit more looser, I think you actually can find something in a magazine. I'm actually astounded by, I've got a stack of magazines. Like I've been collecting them since I was a kid, really. So I have a lot of them, but really you only need one or two and you've got a vision board. So it's not really about that. But yeah, I definitely understand where that sort of fear sort of comes from. And in terms of why, to have a vision board, in terms of for your business, I'll show you, actually, this one's a bit of show and tell. This one's the one I actually originally created for my business a few years ago. And this was like the broader vision of, well, what did I actually want in there? And what did I want to do? I had no idea when I started. I had sort of an idea about, this inner creative thing and about bringing more creativity into people's lives and businesses, but I really didn't know. And so what I did was, a bit shiny, but yeah, just sat down and collected a whole lot of sort of images there. And like there's some things that you might go, all right, fair enough, inspiration, and there's a group of women talking. So there are some things that are very literal about really what I want to see in my business. But, I really don't know why I've, got the bird, like I've got lots of little birds there. So, I mean, maybe that's a metaphor for, helping people fly and and inspire them. Yeah, so it's not always necessarily a literal thing, but it gives me a feeling whenever I actually see that. And that's really what the whole purpose of a vision board is about. So in terms of, you know, why do you have one? Like, I think it does. Like, for me, it really helped articulate my business vision. Like, it gave me a direction where I'm headed. I mean, that's a very different look, sort of feel. Like, I'm really not, you know, in that. You won't see me turn up in a suit being all corporate whenever I speak or do anything. That's just not me. That's sort of the feel you get when you work with me. So I think it really helps people to articulate that, and maybe even your branding, things like that. It also helps shape your goals. So there isn't necessarily a goal statement in there, but it helps you shape your priorities. You know, what does this actually mean? And I'll take you through that later, but, you know, it helps you make your decisions, you know, and it's also easier to communicate and say, well, this is what I really want. And then you can actually ask other people for support, or, you know, telling them this is what I'm aiming to do. And people go, oh, actually, you know, that aligns with what I'm doing, or I know about this person. Why don't you try this? And also helps you be proactive. I think, as Ali was saying, having something that you look at and you actually really love and is out there and reminding you every day about why you're in this business, because there are some days that, you know, you're waking up and you're not going to be jumping out of bed. But if you really remind yourself about, yeah, why is it that I'm here, then that's a vision board's a really good way of doing that. And yeah, even if it's just to make you smile and to think a bit more expansively about what's possible. In terms of the 3 basic steps, there's not a lot to it. It's about, yeah, grabbing some mags, you know, catalogs, anything that's paper, and create, and then sitting down creating it. So getting your scissors and your glue, and I'll get back to that later, but even the creating, it doesn't necessarily need to be the scissors and glue. And also then what I do is the last step is, which I call activation. So when you get this board, this is all expansive, your big picture thinking, but to actually get it down into concrete action into your life, you actually need to ground it and get more linear and logical. So that's what I call the activation, and actually sort of turn the woohoo into reality, so to speak. So how to create the right board for you. So look, I'm really hands-on, so I really love getting my, you know, scissors and, you know, my glue and you know, having a sit there and flicking through my magazines, as long as I'm not reading them. But for others, like if you really like the online space, I know Oprah, I don't know if it's still there, but used to be a vision boarding software that you can use. I'm sure there must be all sorts of things if you Googled vision boarding, you know, applications or software. But even Pinterest, like, that's just an awesome pin board that you can put a whole lot of images that resonate with you. And so you can do the traditional, you know, actually sit down, physically do it, or you can even do a bit of both, go online, oh, I really love that image, and, you know, print it out and then stick it down. So it's perfectly fine. It's really, in the end, this is your vision board. So it's about what actually works for you. And it's really funny, like, I speak to a lot of people about, oh, what I do, and they go, oh, so you're telling me, oh, I just like to, you know, put pictures up on my pin board. And I'm like, that's a vision board. So it's just that mightn't be the traditional way of approaching it. But if there's something that really speaks to you, you really love that image, put it up there. And, you know, whether or not it's a frame, pin board, on your fridge, it doesn't matter. That's essentially what a vision board's about. And I once ran a class where we did vision boarding, and this woman did this amazing 3D thing. Like, it wasn't even flat. It like popped out, like all these bits of paper were everywhere. And it was awesome. It's like, you know, there's absolutely no hard rules about what it's about. But what I will say is, in terms of vision boarding failure, it actually can happen, and it's happened to me. And I suppose in terms of context, I've been vision boarding probably, or collaging, throughout my whole life. It probably started in prep when the teacher said, right, you know, for every letter of the alphabet, here's a scrapbook, and, you know, find pictures from the magazines and put them in. And I've been collaging and vision boarding pretty much ever since. But it was probably in 2000. And this is like my first like full-on serious attempt. And I obviously had a few hours to kill, because I can't even fit it in there. It's like 6 sheets of A4 paper. Like, it's massive. Anyway, I did that in 2000, I think I just sat down. I don't know when I was inspired to do it, but back in 2000, I was like, right, I'm just going to sit down, and I just kept cutting and finding more pictures, and then ended up, like tacking. You can sort of see them. I like just tacked pieces of paper and glued them, like sticky tape them all together, and just put a whole lot of massive stuff in there. And that sat on my wall for a very long time in my apartment, and just the stuff on there that just really resonated with me. I just loved it, and been doing it sort of bits and pieces ever since. But it was about 12, 13 years ago, and I was probably doing that more for my life in general, and I was just a bit of a crossroads about my work and career. I sort of was at the end of finishing my master's, and I was like, where do I go? And it was then I went, oh, why don't I use a vision board like to do something for my career, like work out what to do with my career. I always do it for my life, so why not do it for my work? And I sat down and I went, right, I'm going to do it the same way. And I wish I'd actually kept it. In the end, it just bombed. Like I couldn't even finish it. It just made me feel terrible doing it. And I'd stick things on there randomly and thinking, that was the problem. I was thinking about what I thought I should put on there. So, and the one image I do remember on there was like some flat lay of a black suit. And I don't know, it was from Portman's or something, I don't know where it was from. And it was this flat lay, and I went, yeah, I should have that on my career vision board, because, you know, you have a career and you wear a suit. And, you know, I thought at that time that my whole thing was about getting into the corner office and moving my way up the corporate ladder, or, you know, just working my way up. And then I put that image down there, and it's just really interesting. Like in hindsight now, I go, yeah, like look at me, what I'm wearing. Like I don't wear a suit. That's just not me. And I was trying to force myself into a certain either expectations or idea about what I should be doing with my work and my career. And so I wish I'd kept it in a way, because it would have been really awesome for me to look at it and go, yeah, actually that's why it didn't work, because I was thinking too much about it. I wasn't actually going, right, you know what, I'm not going to care about what particular images I'm going to have on there. I'm just going to cut and paste. And if it's just all different colors or random things, that's okay. But I suppose I didn't really know that about vision boarding back then. So really, yeah. And so in the end, that's why it didn't connect with me. And because I looked at it and I went, oh, suit, yeah, doesn't work. So in terms of the three things you can do to avoid that happening is preparation. So make sure that you actually do have access to the right images. So make sure that you actually do like the magazines that you're going to be cutting out. And I don't know, I use old ones because cutting out a new one sometimes gives me a bit of a, I don't know, perfectionist thing. I don't like cutting up something that's lovely, but have the right images. And the only way I can say in terms of picking something is something that you go, oh, I love, like you flick through it and you just love the images and you love it. And it makes you go, oh yeah, that's awesome. Love that picture. Love that picture. And that's all you need. It doesn't matter what it is. The only thing I would say is probably like things like your celebrity gossip magazines. Probably, I don't know. And the other sort of thing to avoid with vision boarding is like getting distracted and reading all of the articles. But I sort of find sometimes too many celebrity pictures, we start getting into this sort of space, into our head going, oh, I should be doing that. I should be wearing this. I should be doing that. So, yeah, just find something that resonates with you. And then, so that's preparation. The second one is getting into actually the right head or heart space. So I've written actually a blog about how to prepare for this, but basically be relaxed. So set up your space. You know, even if it's 20 minutes, give yourself that time to do it. Like turn off your phone, your distractions, you know, relax, and don't come from a place of frustration, because I think that's the other thing with my career failure vision board was I was really frustrated at that point in time. I was just feeling blah, and to come straight into creating a vision board from that feeling, it wasn't really good. So I was going to get something that was probably a bit blah. So what I actually like to do now, and sort of learning things over time, even using my creativity training and things about reading about how our brain works, but actually start from a place of gratitude. So actually think about how wonderful things are at the moment, because wherever you are is perfect and it's great, and there's something in there, even if it's, you know, there are bits that are terrible, there's something good in there right now, because for one thing, you're breathing, and, you know, that's a good thing. So yeah, to start from that place of gratitude, and however you get into that space, and also just to have fun. So whether or not you put music on, but it's about having fun and getting more into that great space. And then so this third thing is about when actually you're picking your images, to actually make sure that you like them. So not putting them there because you think you should have them. So not putting down the SUV because you think everybody else has an SUV, so I better have one too. It's not about that. It's about picking, you know, what actually, what I really love. So you look through them, you go, oh, I love that. And even if it's a bit of it, like I'm just having a look, but I'll cut out random bits of, I don't know, like, you know, bits of shapes of different things. They're not even the whole picture sometimes. Like that's, I think, somebody's pants or something. I don't know even what that is, maybe a lipstick case or something. It doesn't matter, but it's just has to resonate with you, and that's the whole point. Don't overthink it. Like, don't go, oh, why have I got that crazy picture? Like, I've got some weird pictures in there. I've got like I don't know, I've got rabbits, I've got tortoises, you know, I've got handstands. Like, I'm like, I don't know why I've got that in there. I'm putting it in there. It makes me feel good. So it doesn't matter. And then the next bit of the board, that's when you work it out. But when you're actually picking your images, don't worry about all of that stuff. And so in terms of testing, like if you've actually created a really good vision board, and really the vision board's for you. So that's the other thing. This is not about impressing other people. As you can see, they're my vision boards. You might look at those and go, oh, they're a bit crap. It doesn't matter. They have to work for me. And so that's when I say you create a vision board that you love, that you will actually really love hanging up on your wall, or taking a photo and putting it on your, your phone background, or on your computer screen. You know, something that you will love looking at. Because I tell you what, if you love looking at it, then you're actually going to be heading towards that. You're going to be creating it, and it's going to be a lot easier to do it than forcing yourself to go, yeah, I really need that thing that I've stuck on there. And if you do it that way, it's not going to work. So the other thing in terms of that, so sorry, just looking at my notes. So to test, so it's about smiling. If it makes you smile and makes your heart sing, you're on a winner. And if there's something in there, you go, like something, oh, it's a bit odd. Now, if it's odd but you still like it, that's okay. But if there's something in there, you go, oh, I don't know why that's in there. It doesn't actually make me feel happy. Like, just check, is that like a should? Is that like an expectation of someone saying something to you about what should be in your work, in your business, you know, in your life? Is that somebody saying that to you? And, you know, possibly it's yourself saying it, but is it the thinking sort of space rather than that heart space going, yeah, I really actually want it? And that's where it actually can get a bit tricky about what goes on your vision board. And if you look at it and go, oh, I'm not quite sure, take it out. If you put something on top of it and you feel better, that's a really good way of working out that that image is not for you. And the other thing is in terms of going, well, if it's there and it makes you feel uncomfortable, then why? Like, use it as a way of like going, I've got to explore that. Like, I put that on there, I really don't know why I've got that on there, or I'm not quite sure and it doesn't make me feel good. Like, yeah, is it a should, or is it, why is it there? Like, is it something about even taking you out of your comfort zone around something? In business, we need to do a lot of that and can be scary. So just check in, really. And then basically what you can do after you've created this, so going through all of that sort of preparation, you know, creation, then what actually, rather than just sticking it up on the wall and going, right, great, done, off I go, can have my, you know, coffee, go and do my work now. What I actually do is what I call my sort of activation phase. So I actually like to anchor it. And as I was saying, it's all very well to be in that expansive stuff and that thinking, which is great, but we also need to step into our logical linear brain thinking to actually turn it into action. So what I do, and that's the difference between the one that I started out with, as you could see, it was like all blank, but all the new ones that I've got have all got writing on the back of them. So that's basically what I do next. So just to write, once you've created your vision board, turn it over. And if you have got it online, then maybe write it somewhere else or annotate or do something and say like, my vision for my business or for my life is, and then basically dot point or write whatever stream of consciousness that comes in. And then what you do is you basically look at what you've got on your vision board and think about it and just write down whatever comes to mind. And you'll find that your answer's a lot more looser, broader, and as you have a look and you go, I have no idea why I put that particular, say, bunny rabbit or whatever on there. But then when you actually sit down and think about it, you go, oh, well, actually maybe that's about, you know, new beginnings or being, you know, I suppose multiplying or expanding or something like that. And you'll find that there's lots of sort of metaphors that are hidden in all of these pictures that we pick for ourselves. And that's why I think they're more powerful than picking like going, right, I want this thing and putting that thing, because that thing is so limiting, as opposed to something that could be a metaphor for a lot of different things. And so, yeah, as an example, like I do them sometimes even monthly around even themes. And so, for instance, this was like a theme board about dreams that were emerging for me. And so that's all about stretching and reaching tall and being on a journey of self-discovery and spreading my branches and stepping into new doors and things like that, and honoring my difference and flourishing and increasing my knowledge and things like that. And I don't think I would have necessarily got to that space if I just gone, right, what are my goals for me right now? I mean, I might have got a bit of that, but I don't think it would have been as rich. And so that's what I really love about the vision boards. And actually, yes. And so it means also when by writing down on the back, when you come back to it, you can actually go, oh, that's sort of what I meant. But also, I think when you're looking at it, you're getting a whole lot of visual information all the time. And it's just amazing also, if you've had it sitting there, that you go, oh, wait a minute. Like, you might know why you've put that to start with, but then you go, oh, and you look back on time and go, oh, I put that there and this has happened. And you know, like the crazy thing from my my first vision board, I think I can't find where they are, but I've got like street signs. And I don't know why I put these particular street signs in there. Anyway, a few years later, I put that away. A few years later, I'm looking, you know, moved house, and I'm looking through my vision board. And I'm like, oh, I live near that road now. Like, that was one of the street signs. Now, that, like, I put it there, and once again, I put it there, you know, and not completely thinking about, yep, I'm going to put this street sign there and I'm going to live right there. And, you know, just put it up there. It felt good. And then, like, yeah, in hindsight, I go, oh, like, obviously your subconscious, it works away. So you put this stuff out there and it's constantly working out ways for these things to happen for you, rather than always going, right, yep, that sign means this. And yeah, doing it that way. So in terms of then going, right, I've done the writing, I've done the logical thinking, I've brought it down. So what I actually like to then do is I'm into like picking one thing, that's one thing, and going, right, what's the one thing I can do today that's actually going to help me move towards that vision that I've got for myself? You know, what's one goal? What's one thing I can work on for this whole year to aim towards? And by doing that, it just helps you be a bit more focused. And so doing that, and then, yeah, displaying it. You know, you love it. You've created something you love, so why not look at it? So, you know, hang it up, take a photocopy of it or scan it, take a photo of it, you know, put it on all your devices. You know, show it and share it with your friends. I do other visual planning things that I shared with my Motivating Mums group, and talked about what I do in my business. And I got so many opportunities and, oh, is that, you know, I could do that. You know, I could help you with that. As soon as as soon as you start talking about what you want and articulating that, then it's so much easier for other people to help you. And yeah, I was blown away, like, about, you know, even the generosity of like Ali for, like, you know, asking me to the last Brilliant Biz Mum conference and on this, like, wouldn't have imagined doing that. And that's all from, you know, just sharing really what I want to achieve. So yeah, thanks, Ali. And so, and the other thing is to let go of your fixed expectations. So I think it's really important to have goals and to have something you're fixed on, but I don't think you have to be so minutely focused on how it needs to happen. So the example is, for instance, I really wanted to, I think if you saw that one, there's about, you know, like, there's a thing about an audience. And for me, like, stepping out and actually speaking to people. Now, I knew I wanted that to happen, but I didn't go, right, like, there's some things I could do to make that happen. Like, for instance, yeah, joining group networking, you know, joining Motivating Mums, all of that sort of stuff. But I didn't go, right, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this and this, all down the line. I just start with one step and see where that takes me, and then go, right, what's the next thing? And just keep going that way. And that way you're more open to the opportunities that arise. And so that's how that speaking thing, I went, yeah, I want to speak. And then somebody at the Motivating Mums meeting went, oh, well, awesome. Well, would you like to speak at this conference? So I went, awesome. Like, my dreams come true just with coming to one meeting. So very good value for money there. It was, so just to let go of that. And as I was saying, like, I put away that vision board, but obviously the subconscious just keeps working away and working out how to take you there. But yeah, so that's sort of what I had to generally speak about. I don't know if there's anything else. The only thing, I suppose, Ali, would you like me to talk about, like, magazines and get more into that detailed type thing, examples? Would that be helpful?
What we can do, we can let people know, if they're watching on YouTube, there is a live chat on there and they can ask their questions if anyone has any questions. And I've also got a couple of questions if you want. We can.
Yeah.
So basically, listening to you pretty much has, I think, upended what was. I always thought that you kind of started with your goals and had your goals, whatever it is that you wanted to achieve, and then you had images that represented that, literally or not. I got that part. Yeah. And put those on. So, but what you're saying is go with just choose any images, and then actually look at what you've chosen and almost like interpret them. So it would almost come before the goal setting. Is that right? Yeah. So it's your visioning. So you're setting your broad direction. And so in a sense, then you're using it to hone in rather than, I suppose, that's probably the way. And I think, I mean, I probably started that when I was doing like my career one. I sort of started, right, this is what I think it needs to be, and then going out there and trying to create that. And I think that's what I've learned along the way. If you actually think more broadly, you actually think of things that you probably might never even thought were possible for yourself. I think that's the other thing, because we sometimes can get so narrow about this is what I do or this is what I should be doing. And then you don't actually think, well, actually, I could be doing that instead. So, yeah, I do tend, I mean, as I said, it's horses for courses as long as it works for you. So if you really got this strong passion about doing something in your business, then I say go for it, you know, find a picture that says that for you. But on the other hand, you can probably say that in a different way rather than finding a literal picture of that, whatever it is. So yeah, I mean, as you can see in my business one, like there are things about, you know, me working with others and you know, being in a networking sort of group and helping others connect and stuff. But so I did find those sort of images there because that's what I wanted in my business. But I suppose I didn't really overthink it and go, right, well, I want to be delivering my content this way and I'm going to go and find an image. Yeah. So I don't know if that, yeah, I think that confirms what you were pretty much saying. Yeah. Absolutely. And so then the other thing that I was thinking is that is different to what I thought is I always sort of thought you would do a vision board at the start of the year. But what I was actually thinking, I was thinking of a mum in particular that I know who is very challenged with personal things, you know, family stuff. And her business is suffering as a result. And she's trying to hang on to it, but she's not sure why she's hanging on to it. She's not sure the reasoning for it. And then she's thinking maybe she should just go to work because then there'll be money and blah, blah, blah. So she could actually do a vision board, I'm guessing, to just trying to tap into what, you know, her gut is, because at the moment what's going on, she's overthinking everything. So would you suggest a vision board for people in times like that to tap into what they really want?
It is. And so, like, I suppose it's for any point in time when there's a new start, or you just want to go, right, what do I want from now? So it could be the new year, it could be the start of the month. I mean, I know people do them around full moon, like around the moon cycle. So if you're into that sort of stuff, you know, financial year, or going, I want to start on a new project. So, right, I don't want to do one completely for my whole business, but I want to do one for my project. Look, I've even done them, and I'm just trying to find one. So I did one around themes, around like, not values, but things that were important aspects of my life, or say my business. And so this one for me was about happiness. So you could go, it really, there's no limit to the possibilities of what you can do it around. So so the only thing is, I think it's really, you can sort of say, a month from now, but it's a bit hard to go, like, if you're sort of a bit more open about what it is. So going like, what do I want my future to be? So it encompasses that. And then you can be open to, around your work, around your career, around your business, around your life, around your family, whatever it is. So the only thing is just to keep them open. And it's really interesting. I've actually had people sit in my workshops that have gone, right, I'm going to be doing a vision board for my business. And they kept flicking through these magazines, and they're finding sea pictures, pictures of palm trees, holiday images, all sorts of stuff. And they're like, but this is not about my business. And I'm like, but this is what's coming up for you. And then they realized at the end of the process, when they looked at it, they went, you know what? I actually need to take a break out from my business, for me. And so the word sabbatical kept on coming up for her. And so in the end, you know, within the next few months, she actually worked out how to take a really good period of time off from her business and went to Hawaii. And she came back, and you know what, it's sort of opened up things for her. She's being able to look at a lot more possibilities for her business and things like that. And so you sort of go, it's a bit crazy. Like, it's not a standard business plan approach going, right, well, if I go to Hawaii or whatever, that's going to help my business. But it really did, taking that time out for her. And that was the stuff that was coming up for her that was saying, you know, I need to take that break.
Holly in the live chat has agreed and said that that's where she's at. She always thought vision boards were around goals, and she's and also Anne has asked a question. As I'm a writer, I think my vision board would be words, not images, or a combination of both. Have you had to create a vision board this way?
So look, I have got, so I don't know if you notice, so occasionally, like, even even in my business one, there are words and phrases in there. So I don't think it's a bad thing. And look, with writers, words are your tools. So that just makes complete sense. I suppose the only caution I have about that, and I've heard of, you know, you can, if you want to, create the whole thing out of words and phrases. The only thing I suppose I caution around that is in terms of thinking about the way our brains work. So if you want to get into that more expansive, big picture sort of thinking, that taps into using imagery, colour, metaphor. So you start using language and words, and you start getting into the logical and linear part of your brain. So I don't, like, as I said, it's what works for you. So if it's going to make you feel more comfortable getting, you know, if some words and things resonate for you, but I wouldn't necessarily go out looking for them, if that makes sense. And if they come up, that's awesome, put them down. But I think there's also then the trap of perhaps then you'll switch into that brain thinking, which is the logical linear stuff, which might actually then narrow down, because that's basically the logical linear stuff is all about narrowing our thinking. That's about coming to a decision. And if you're getting into that narrowing too early, then you might shut yourself up from other bigger possibilities. So it's just more, I suppose, the way our brain works and just harnessing that. But I mean, yeah, and I suppose the other thing is like we're constantly switching between both sides of the brain, and you know, it's not so discrete. Like language uses both parts of the brain, but yeah, just trying to actually help, like, I suppose, harness those bits of the brain that do that type of thinking, expansive thinking. Images and symbols and things are going to work better for that. But it's not to say, yeah, that using words in there is not going to. So I'd just say have a go and see what comes up and do what works for you.
On that same sort of a theme, do you find that some people just aren't good at doing vision boards because they're just not visual people, or is there something that they can do to get into that frame of mind? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, I think there's something like, you know, there's statistics that like 70% of us are actual visual people. So I think there are, you know, and we all use all our senses, you know, our sensory and things like that. So depending on what it is, and that's why I suppose I like physically making my vision board, because I think that's like hands-on problem solving, actually physically cutting or ripping things out actually gets you into more of your body, if that makes sense. So if you're sort of really a kinesthetic, or you like getting hands-on, like, you know, and actually dabbling in there and having a go, you know, you don't read the instruction manual, you go in and try and fix something without thinking about it, then I think you can still get into that with a vision board. I think part of it is also our expectations we have about ourselves, about going, oh, I'm going to be really bad at this. As soon as you start thinking that, it's not going to work. So go, look, I'm going to have a go, see what it's like. And I've had guys, you know, sitting in, you know, business planning stuff going, yeah, great, this is fantastic. And then suddenly they're looking through magazines. I don't know what it is, it switches, maybe doing it in a group, doing it with somebody else that likes doing it. But suddenly they were there and they're like rifling through magazines going, oh, has anyone got a lighthouse picture? I really want a lighthouse picture. I'm like, all right, awesome. Like, we found him the lighthouse picture. Like, you know, you can get into it. And I think it is about just going, right. And if you are use other things. So if you're into like, you're more listening and things like that, then put music on while you're doing it. You know, just do whatever it is to help you be more relaxed, really.
Cool. A couple more questions for me.
Yep. yeah, awesome.
Continuing on that track, I'm assuming, like, if you've got staff and
Yep.
you want to make sure that you're, you know, looking after them, and, you know, is your business, do you recommend doing like vision boarding with your staff, and they do, and then they can sort of work out what it is they want to achieve and where they want to go, and then obviously work that into your business to keep everyone happy.
Yep. Yeah. There's sort of, I suppose there's a really good, I suppose, you know, you do anything in a group, it always, like, the energy always feels just better. And so it's a really relaxing, really good thing to do. The tricky thing, I suppose, is about doing one. I mean, I've never actually done a collective like vision board, whether or not I do collective drawings and Lego and things like that. It's a lot easier to put sort of pieces together. I've never actually tried a group collage vision board, but I don't see why not. So I suppose in that sense, you know, I think it makes sense for, say, you know, yourself, whoever's sort of leading the overall vision, to have their idea of what they want. But then there's no problem whatsoever of everyone going, right, well, what's my space? What can I do in my space? What does that role mean for me? And yeah, doing that all together, because the power of actually sharing that and actually articulating, that's what I actually love about all these creative tools. It sort of gets us out of thinking in here and actually helps us explain what we're thinking. And once we get it out there, it's a lot easier for people to interact about it. And so as soon as, like, you drawing, draw a picture or build Lego or, make your vision board, people can start talking about the vision board or what you've got there rather than going, oh, that's a bit of a crazy idea, and getting into that terrible, terrible space in, shutting people down. But, if you don't understand something, you can go, oh, well, why do you think you put that there? What does that mean? Or I notice there's a few colours here, what's that meaning for you? And I think it's a really nice conversation starter. I suppose the only thing to be mindful of is that everyone thinks differently. So, when I come and see, I don't know, a bird, I'll have a different metaphors or symbols of what a bird means for me, whereas somebody that's scared of birds is going to have, completely different ideas about what a bird is. So they wouldn't put probably a bird on their vision board, and probably seeing a vision board, like a bird on your vision board, would probably freak them out. But yeah, but it's a really good, nice starting point for discussion. I think it's awesome in a team environment too.
And what about vision boarding with your kids?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I find if I do something like I'm doing on the kitchen table, the kids will always suddenly, I think we've talked about, you get with your colouring, you start doing stuff for yourself and they're like, oh, cool, I'm gonna do that. And I probably haven't sat down and gone, right, kids, let's do this, a structured activity, but they've come and sort of worked alongside of me. But I have done also, I suppose, mother-daughter sessions, which has been really, really nice. And so mum's hanging out and doing that. And just, once again, the discussion starter, of, oh, why have you got that on your board? Oh, and I suppose explaining things that, mean something to you and that you're interested in. I think it's a really nice discussion starter. So I've had lots of people come away from those sessions going, oh, that's just awesome. And it's something that you can keep going back to and talking about with as well. So something they can put up and you go, oh, so how's that going? Do you still like it? Why have you got that there? It's, once again, a really great discussion starter too, I think. Yeah.
And the last question is,
yep.
I know when you were showing the vision boards, because obviously some of them are quite old, you don't know what the images mean anymore. But when you did them, did you kind of get a meaning out of each of the images, or are they just actually, I still don't even know what that means, and that's fine, it can exist on there and I like it, but do you actually attribute something to each image that you put on there?
Probably not to each specific image, because as I said, sometimes I'm just trying to find, what's a good one? But, I'll take out random bits of colour and things like that in there. And so sometimes it might be just a mood rather than an actual image itself. So I mightn't actually go, yep, that equals that. And I think also, so you'll get a sense of sort of, things that are themes that are coming out. So if there's a certain colour that's, really coming through. So I'm going through here. So this one was about what desires lie deep within. So as you can see, that's a really different colour palette than all my other sort of bright, cheery sort of ones. It's a really different, it's really muted. And I suppose for me, that was about, something that was a bit deeper in me rather than being all on the surface and bright and colourful. And I suppose, I don't know, it's a lot of winter images in there. So maybe, winter's the time for reflection and thinking like that. So for me, that was, it was all about, comfort and exploration and things like that. So, I like, maybe I suppose you could go, right, well, that lamb with its mum is probably about nurturing and comfort, but there could be a whole lot of layers also within there. So you could unpick that and go, sheep are really nice. They're in nature. Is it about being in nature? There's all sorts of stuff. And I think going that equals that is sort of quite limiting in a way, because I think there's actually quite a lot of different information that also comes together when that image, paired with, flowers or sitting down and reading has a really different message. So, but I will say that you come back to them and you go, why did I put that in? And in hindsight, you know, we see a whole lot of stuff that we didn't see before. So like my sign, you know, seeing that, or my speaking thing that, you know, with my audience, like you don't necessarily see everything, and that's okay as well. Yeah.
Beautiful. Right, well, that's it. That's all my questions done. And we haven't had any more questions from the girls. But if for anyone watching later, if they do want to ask you a question, where else do they ask you a question, Natalia?
Yeah, so probably the easiest thing is to get onto my either Facebook. So I'm on Inner Creative Consulting is sort of my long tag, but I think if you just typed in Inner Creative, you'd probably find me. So you could obviously comment or message me through there, but go straight to my website, which is innercreative.com.au, and either leave a comment or engage that way through blogs. So I've got blogs about vision boarding and about using creative tools and sort of my approach to business and stuff there as well. So there's lots of information. And if you don't mind, I was going to say what I've actually done. I was talking about, you know, setting yourself up and preparing yourself. What I've actually done is every year I create like a reflections workbook. So if you actually sign up, you get that for free. And what I do is I do mandalas as well. So there's a lot of sort of spaces for you to sort of either write words or draw, you know, if you sort of just feel like doodling or things, you know, like what you felt proud about, but, you know, what you'd like to let go of, you know, what you've learnt, and, you know, what saying getting into a grateful space, like, you know, you can fill that out before you do your vision boarding. Like, what do I feel grateful for? And sort of get into that space. And yeah, I really love, my favorite tool actually is the stop, start, continue. I think that's a really quick one. But yeah, if you sign up, just go to innercreative.com.au/hangout, then you'll get that reflections document. You'll also get a link to my first installment of my blog, which runs through more about how to prepare, set yourself up for doing your vision board. And then you'll also there'll be a subscriber only discount for an upcoming online visioning board workshop that I'm going to be doing in the future as well, so to actually walk you through that process. But yeah,
perfect.
Yeah,
beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Natalia. That was way more interesting and surprising than I anticipated, because I was expecting you were going to say stuff that I already knew, and I was like, oh, okay, I know nothing about it.
No. Everyone, you always come with something useful.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you so much. It's been so great having you along today. And also, guys, don't forget, we do have the Brilliant Biz Mum Awards on at the moment. So please nominate yourself, and please nominate other amazing mums in business. There's like 13 categories, and we've got everything from, like, you know, best direct marketing party plan to Writing Excellence Award to social media success, the best stories, and obviously it goes on, you know, the skills of a business owner. So you might not have been in business very long, you might be amazing at writing blogs, and so please nominate yourself. And the other thing to keep an eye out for is next Wednesday, March the 8th, I'm doing 24 hours of Facebook Live celebrating International Women's Day. And that may be the last time you see me, because I may keel over from a hard one. It's going to be an interesting concept. We can be back in about April, and we will be sending out information on that hangout in so until then, see you around, and see you later, guys.
Thanks for listening to me. If you think that you would love to know when my next video comes out, you can. Just subscribe here or here or here or down there or somewhere around here. You'll see the subscribe button. Hope to see you again. Bye.